Cheers.
Bourbon from a mug.
Shoney's and
Waffle
House mugs, to be exact.
Dude, these things are so thick you could, like, murder someone with them. I mean, look at it.
Why would you think that? Why would you want to murder someone with that?
Because it's Waffle House and everybody's fighting. You know,
Especially
when you see
in
videos
4
from the
o'clock in the
internet, and it's in a Waffle House, like, they're scrapping. There's nothing else going on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Highly Suspicious Podcast with Louie and Preston. My name is Louie.
My name is Preston.
We're reporting once again live from the Trap House. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not smoking. We're drinking. We're switching it up. We're doing, well, yeah.
Well,
it won't replace the smoking, but it will be in addition to.
You can enjoy the ice sounds.
Listen to me drink with no ice sounds.
Oh my god, Louie.
So I do have a topic today. One of the most common things we talk about on this podcast, I know it's funny that everyone loves to ask us what we talk about on this podcast. And we just really had to be like, we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be that crazy. Like, we don't have one-track mind, so why would we do our podcast on one thing?
Mm-hmm.
But something that seems to be a continuing theme in the episodes we have put out, just this idea of, like, futurism and how we're trying to make things look like they're the future right now, when in reality, we're really just not there yet. So, self-driving cars.
Yeah.
So,
Did you see Elon's thing?
What's Elon's thing?
There was, because he loves Twitter, as all egomaniacs do, and he put something out where he's talking about self-driving cars could solve traffic jams. And when you look at his system that's running to, like, just kind of test it out, where they have vehicles weaving through, like, 8-lane intersection, there is no pedestrian crossing, obviously. So in Elon's world, fuck people who walk. Get a self-driving car.
You must podcast for a living because you just segued perfectly into what I'm talking about. So last year, there was an article that came out about how self-driving cars are racist. And, you know, in 2021, that's an attention-grabbing headline.
Yeah, it is.
But we also come from the era where videos such as air conditioning is sexist has come out. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt on the internet.
Yeah.
But I thought this was really interesting. So basically, about a dozen Teslas last year crashed into emergency vehicles, and that is because, like, the flashing lights made it so that they just didn't know what to do.
Shit.
So because of this, and because of what Preston was talking about, they're basically using, like, video and film, specifically animation, which I think is interesting because they use kind of the same animation to detect people, animated films, as, you know, they would a car.
How
like,
so?
The algorithm's the same, basically. The technology's the same because the animation softwares have to detect, okay, this is person and this isn't person.
Okay, yeah.
And they have to do that so people can be rendered, you know, the movements can be done correctly. It's basically just the opposite way around for this.
Right.
Now listen to this. Using these algorithms to train AIs is extremely dangerous because they were specifically designed to depict white humans. All the sophisticated physics, computer science, and statistics that undergird this software were designed to realistically depict the diffuse glow of pale, white skin and the smooth glint of long, straight hair. In contrast, computer graphics researchers have not systematically investigated the shine and gloss that characterizes dark and black skin. or the characteristics of Afro-textured hair. As a result, the physics of these visual phenomena are not encoded in these Hollywood algorithms. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there.
I get what it's saying though. Have you seen that ad for like the new Pixel phone where it's like about how the camera detects all skin tones better? Like that is actually just a thing that exists that you wouldn't even really think about, but in modern age, those are some issues that you have to realize are there because they're very different.
You don't even really think about it, but animated films, all of entertainment really for the most part is designed for white people.
Yeah.
So that's why they're designing character models for white skin, and I think it's interesting. So basically, it's like an actual Hollywood animator who's talking about all this, and he talks about how the behind the scenes of the movie Soul, which is a black animated film, they said that they were struggling to animate the black characters because there were just so many subtle nuances that didn't really apply, that they had to change and fix and whatever.
Well, a lot of the time, the way that animation is done, like, people will use pre-existing software and develop off of that for whatever they're doing. And so if they don't have any of that that's applicable to, because I assume that like most animated stuff, they're using like character models based around like motion detection and like have people actually doing stuff to animate around. But if it's not able to detect those actors as well and just like actually representing the skin tones that you're supposed to be showing as like an integral part of your story.
Right.
That's just really interesting, yeah.
And we could talk about, the disparity between black quote-unquote movies and white quote-unquote movies in Hollywood. But at the end of the day, when the software fails to detect a black person in animation, they just have to change their storyboard. They might have to take some extra time to fix it. In real life, you don't detect a black person and they get fucking ran over.
Yeah, which is crazy, but like that also seems like a very, I don't know, I'm not surprised. Like that is how shit gets done and it'll pass through into like practice before it's like, wait, can you even like see black people in your algorithm that you're using to operate a self-driving car? Apparently not. But like nobody's deciding before it gets past the point of like actual product to test that shit out. They're like, oh, it can see all the white people, that's fine. That's probably literally how they set it up too, is they had just like a bunch of white people just run through
and they were like, be
detected by the camera, and they're like, it's perfect.
And I think you did a good job of explaining like why they did this. Like, I don't think this is like a purposely malicious way.
No, it's just able to get through.
It's just easier to take existing algorithms from Hollywood shit because at the end of the day, it saves them money. And the bottom line is all they're ever talking about.
And time.
But I think this is interesting in like a systematic racism sense because, racist people love to ask other people like, define systematic racism.
That's a pretty
good. If there's no explicit
definition.
Racism, then explain what systematic racism is. And it's just so interesting how shit just trickles down because shit is made for white people. In this specific instance, shit is made for white people, and it's harmless at the start, but it trickles down into other shit like self-driving cars, and that shit's fucked up.
Well, and
I'm sure they'll be able to fix it. I don't think that's an unfixable problem.
No, they should be able to.
I just think that's fucking crazy that like
it is crazy like that it could just pass like
cyber racism.
That AI is racist. No, like, and even on the animation scale of like, then there's just equal representation and shit like that. Because if you're not depicting how somebody actually looks right, like, it doesn't serve the purpose of actually even representing somebody.
Right.
What else we got to say about Elon Musk?
So, another thing I want to talk about, in the realm of automated cars, self-driving cars. I watched a video in class today that was about this, but it's like the ethical dilemmas that will arise in coding for self-driving cars. So basically, the scenario is pretty similar to like, you know, the train problem in ethics.
You switch the tracks. And
Basically, the train's on the path that's going to kill 5 people, and it's basically ethically if you're supposed to switch it to the track that only would kill 1 person, or if you would just leave it, because you're still, when changing the track, you're still choosing to kill somebody.
Isn't leaving it a choice too, Louis?
I think so.
Yeah, right.
And that's what I always said, you know. But that's just the layer that makes it more complicated than just like, of course you would choose 5 people's lives over 1 person. But basically the scenario is giving was, you know, the car in front of you stops really hard and you have to swerve out of the way to get it, or you just hit the person in front of you. Obviously, if the AI just hits the person in front of you, you know, it fucks up the people in front of you that are responsible.
Yeah.
But it's also not making a decision that involves someone that doesn't.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a SUV on your left side and there's a motorcycle on your right side.
Right.
And if you would swerve into the motorcycle, you know, it would be less damage to you. It would hurt you less.
They're fucking dead.
But it would kill the motorcyclist. Yeah. And if you go into the SUV, you know,
it's more.
It causes more damage, and it would cause more damage to you, but it would be, you know,
that
safer for the SUV driver.
They're likely to survive.
So it's becoming a question, and this is a question that has been going on for a while with like drones and shit. Mm-hmm. But how much of the responsibility goes into like the programming of shit like this? Because if people start dying on motorcycles because AI starts swerving into them,
it says statistically this is the best choice, and just wrecks some dude on his motorcycle, like goes flying off the highway. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I do see that being like how someone would properly try to code something is by say, okay, here are your choices. This is the most economically and life-wise, mm-hmm. statistically the best choice. But I think if you're thinking practically, it should be that it slams on its brakes.
Mm-hmm. And runs into the person in front of it.
Because that's the person whose fault it is.
Answer.
Or it's also, in a way, like the least risky. Mm-hmm. Because cars are designed for accidents at this point. Like, it's the reason that your car gets fucking slaughtered if you get in a wreck like that. But you survive.
The thing about all these scenarios is they're only going to apply when we're starting to get more self-driving cars on the road.
Yeah.
And there are still, you know, regular driving Will Smiths out there. You know, like in iRobot.
The Will Smiths of the world.
But here's another scenario that I thought was really interesting. Same scenario, except there's motorcyclists on both sides of you. One is wearing a helmet and one is not. So the dilemma, if you swerve into the person with the helmet because he would have a better chance to survive, you would be penalizing the better, safer driver. If you run into the person without a helmet, then you're punishing him like fucking RoboCop.
I think both of those motherfuckers are dead. I don't know the statistics on how much a helmet on a motorcycle affects you.
Probably a lot.
But I think if you get hit by a car on a motorcycle, under most conditions, you're fucking dead. You don't got no seatbelt. Seatbelts are what saves people in a car. You're going flying, you're fucking dead. And maybe you don't have a fractured skull,
But that's the thing that would probably kill you. A lot of the car wreck killings is like head trauma shit, and it's not like...
That's fair.
Because, like, even if you fucking flew, like, 100 feet...
and have internal bleeding and whatever, but yeah.
You broke 10 ribs, you broke your legs, you broke your arms. Unless you, like, broke your neck, like, you'd probably live. Like, if you could get to the hospital, like, you'd probably be fine. Like...
I don't know.
Of the bones that you don't want to crack, skull and spine are the top of those lists. Because you can break your legs. It would fucking hurt.
Your legs.
It would fucking hurt, but you would probably survive.
You will survive broken legs, yeah. Well, and you see when, like, someone gets really fucked up, like, they'll do a whole body cast if they have to. They'll have you just bedridden for months. They'll just teach your ass how to walk again, and you'll be fine. You know? Like, it's amazing what modern medicine can do, but, like, still... I think nothing is always the safer choice. Like, just in the traditional setup of the train and the tracks, like, I'm still like, fucking not my problem. Like, I'm not gonna touch it.
So you would let it hit the 5 people and not hit the one person.
Have you heard of the other one where it's like, okay, there's a vehicle oncoming, and there's like 2 people in the way of it, and you have the option to push a fat person in the way of the vehicle to stop it? Do you push the fat person in front
to save 2 people?
It? Yeah.
No, because I don't think that a fat person would necessarily stop a car.
They're like...
Unless it's like a Snorlax. A Snorlax is blocking your way, then get it the fuck out of there.
They're like...
You have to play the pokey flute to get it out of the way.
They're like 250 pounds at least. The 2 people are both goners.
Do we value people by how much they weigh?
No.
I say yes. I say throw the fat guy in front of the thing.
What changed your mind?
I never said my answer. Fuck them fat people. The skinny people's lives
matter more.
That's at least what Hollywood has told me.
Louis,
that's what society tells me, so I'm doing.
So there's like a 300-pound person that you can push in the way of the vehicle that's gonna kill like the hottest person you've ever seen in your entire life.
I'm doing it 100 out of 100 times. And if there was a guy who was 500 pounds standing next to him, I would push both of them out of the way. Push both of them in the way to save the hot person. The one hot person. So yeah, it does sound like there's going to be a lot of problems with this shit in the future. Like, none of this sounds good.
No.
Like, all these things coming out about self-driving cars, like, it's definitely making me less confident about them. Because when they were first coming out, and everyone's like, oh yeah, we're all just going to be driving cars by the far off distant future of 2020. And
I think it's a novelty though. I think that's part of why Tesla is popular. Mm-hmm. Is a lot of people are like, ooh, I got, because it's like custom made, you know? Like when you order a Tesla, you get to choose different features and shit like that. And like, that's just all very, I feel like I'm in the future. I'm getting this custom electric vehicle. Yeah. Like, and I'm all down for having a car that'll parallel park itself, or
do basic shit,
or
like
come
that.
Pick me up in the parking lot or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's dope. That is the future. I would much rather have just easily incorporated AI, not AI heavy shit, where it's like, I'm trusting my life to you, robot. Like, let's go. You know?
Because any ethical problem is going to be difficult to get around. Because any situation where the AI has to execute, like, you know, emergency procedures in like a crash or something, like, do you value your life? Do you value the other people on the road's life? Do you value, you know?
I think,
like, it's so hard to value one life over another, especially in like a 1-to-1 comparison.
Well, that's why I also say, like, do just have the vehicle stop, because that's the most likely thing you're gonna do in your own natural reaction. Mm-hmm. Dude, I was so close to getting in a wreck on the highway like just a couple weeks ago.
By a self-driving car?
No, just by some fucking idiots. And that's the thing too. Self-driving cars are perfect when there's other self-driving cars on the road, but when it's other humans interacting with self-driving vehicles, there's not like, because literally when you go to peak AI, it'll be that there is like a hive mind for self-driving cars that communicates where the other self-driving cars are, and it can just weave around each other and drive however it fucking wants, because it's all the same system. But interacting with actual people is just fucking messy. And so it's not that hard to merge onto the highway, but people can't fucking do it.
Humans are more unpredictable. So what is the AI gonna do when you're in the second to left lane and someone gets on the expressway and slashes 4 lanes over and hits you?
No,
there's
dude,
not gonna be any.
I see this so fucking often where I'll be on the highway and I'll be in the left lane, like the far left lane. Somebody will be right next to the first lane where there's a ramp coming on. They'll just not give a fuck that there's a vehicle about to get on the highway, not speed up or slow down or get over to let them get on, just be like la-di-da, and then, oh shit, there's a car right next to me, and they'll just go in the other lane. That's almost how I got in a wreck. So I had to quickly judge, there's not a car behind me, give my brake a tap, go out into like the little bit of the median where there's space in between like the barrier and shit,
Right.
and give them space to fucking weave around this person that they totally fucking saw getting on the highway.
Right.
They're just a piece of shit and don't know that their car can't accelerate fast enough to fucking get out of the way, and they need to just tap their fucking brakes. Because everybody's impatient and doesn't want to fucking slow down for a half a second to make shit easier. That's the reason that traffic jams happen, is because humans are so fucking stupid and selfish that literally, if you just followed the rules of the road, if you went the exact speed limit, there should not be any traffic jams. Because it'll keep traffic flowing. But if you hit, the way that it works is like,
why would driving slower?
It's basically that it kind of sets pace for the flow of traffic.
Well, there's still a pace of the traffic, Preston. It's just not 55 miles per hour on the expressway.
No, our speed limits are fucking stupid here. I understand that. But like...
there is a flow of traffic, though. Like,
there is. I'm just saying, like, half the reason is that nobody's like, oh, let me let this person onto the highway real quick, because you're in a traffic jam and you think that that's going to help you go faster. You're still going to be fucking waiting. If everybody was just like, okay, I'll just let this person over, because there would be more time if not everybody was speeding and shit to have people get on. We also have no on-ramp here, because half the time when you travel, you see that there's like a fucking mile of the lane for you to get on the highway.
Right.
Nah.
So yeah, one day, if it was homogenous and every car on the road was self-driving car, there probably wouldn't be any accidents like that. If we get the racist AI sorted out, there wouldn't be any person collisions or anything like that.
But I also think people like control too much.
Yeah.
To let that happen, you know.
Like Will Smith in iRobot.
Yeah.
He could be doing regular shit like everybody else, but no.
He said, "Fuck them robots."
It would be nice though if we had AIs, because we could go a lot faster if the speed limit wasn't 55. Like if everything was AI
and it was all connected,
the speed limit would not be 55. It would be like
80.
It would be like 120. If everyone else on the road had AI, and like you said, They're all fucking talking to each
Yeah.
other. They're all communicating with each other. You can go that fast in, but the reason why there's a speed limit now is because people can't have shit.
That's true.
And that's why I wouldn't like self-driving cars now, because they would drive 55 an hour on the
That's
highway.
true. That'd be fucking stupid.
Add 15 minutes to your daily commute. Fuck that.
Dude, I regularly drive 80 to go, like, to my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I get there in, once I'm on the highway, like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
I can speed too.
But if you're going the speed limit, I swear to God, and like anytime you look up Google Maps directions, it's this if you're going the speed limit,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it's like, all right, enjoy your 20-minute drive. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Cut that shit in half. It depends on the time of the day, though. I will go a little bit more slow if there's more traffic, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But in the morning, half the time, there's fucking nobody.
No.
When
you go to
when
work,
I'm up.
yes, because Preston is at a coffee shop, so he goes.
I gotta
to
be
work
serving
at like
all
6
the
in
other
the
early
morning.
birds.
I'm going to work at like 9. I fight the 9 to 5 rush with a passion, and it's a bunch of people that fucking hate their life,
Yeah.
and they're all dressed up in their fucking Subaru Forester, for example, and they're just sad as fuck, smiling to keep from crying.
Oh, yeah? No, I love seeing what kind of crazy people are up early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've only opened a handful of times at my job, but that's always when the weirdest people are in.
Probably some of the hardest workers too.
Dude, no, not even.
Probably like UPS drivers at.
It'll be people who are regulars and they just get up early, which is scary as fuck to me because I'm a night owl by nature. I just get up early for my job.
Grandma's like, I would just wake up at 4 o'clock in the
It's
morning.
fucking
every
old,
morning.
man. And there's this one guy, he's very regular, and I think he's mostly there on the weekends, but he'll be there around to open, and he'll just go chill in the cafe, and he'll, like, turn the lights off for, like, one portion of the cafe.
He will?
Yes! The light switch is out there. He'll just, like, boop, and chill out there.
And he'll sit like a monk in solitude in his dark corner.
Well, people are just so fucking entitled, you know? And so, a while ago, there was this homeless dude who was in, and, like, I gave him some free stuff, and, like, somebody bought him a coffee. Then somebody comes up and fucking complains to me about him, like, oh, he's not wearing a mask, and he's probably not vaccinated. And I'm like, dude, you don't fucking know if anybody in here is vaccinated.
Because you're not allowed to
You're choosing to come here and take your mask off to talk to your fucking buddies. You're here every fucking weekend doing that shit. And the thing is, I get that the homeless dude's like walking around, but he's not doing anything. And there are plenty of entitled assholes who walk into the place like they fucking own it and walk around anyway. He's not the only person to have done that. So, like, I don't know. You just meet certain people and you know they think they're better than other people. Yeah. And that's a fucked up mentality to have. Because we're all just fucking human.
There are some things more valuable than money. Wisdom. And time.
You know what? I like that you're a bourbon man.
I do too.
I don't think our friendship would be as tight. It wouldn't be the same without the bourbon, do we?
That's an interesting perspective.
No, just like...
No, okay, so... Some people, they see that I'm drinking straight bourbon, and they feel like they need to say something every time. I have a roommate or two, when I'm drinking straight bourbon, they'll be like, oh man, that's hard. It's not. It's like, I'm not doing it to fucking show off. It's just not that bad.
It's not that bad. Have it on the rocks. And fucking, I've met a surprising amount of people who, because you're culturally sold alcohol. Like in the same way that people are culturally sold coffee, in a way, and in a certain point in history, people were sold nicotine as like, it's part of the adult lifestyle.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of people.
You have a drink.
There are plenty of people who I see at my job where I'm like, you're getting this much sweetener in your coffee, it is okay that you do not like coffee. Just have a fucking tea, or we have other alternatives. Like, don't fucking make me make you a cup of caramel sauce. Like, fuck off.
A lot of the shit at like Starbucks is hardly coffee. It's more like a milkshake.
Right. And I have a friend who really doesn't like to drink, and I was talking about it with him, and he said, no, if I'm drinking, I'm not going to drink beer. Like, I don't see the point of drinking beer or anything that's not strong, because if I'm drinking, it's to get drunk. And so I'd rather drink like Everclear, which, that's fucked up. I wouldn't drink Everclear.
So
if I'm trying to get drunk, I will have bourbon, but I don't know, for some reason I also enjoy wine, and I enjoy the taste of some beer. And maybe it's because I have been sold the idea.
You can get drunk off of wine, though.
Yeah, you can. And it doesn't taste bad. Like, it's the same reason with, like, caffeine.
Yeah.
Like, I could just drink espresso and be caffeinated very easily.
Uh-huh.
But maybe I want to make something that tastes good and also does that.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, I want to get, like...
You know, it's a mix.
Yeah. I want to get, like, a whole bar set up, though, to, like, actually make cocktails and shit. Because that's...
Cool.
It's interesting. And that way you get to, like, experiment more. And I think, in a way, that's, like, what you should do in life. Of just, like, try a bunch of shit and see what you like.
You know, I like different types of drinks, but I like bourbon. That's what I
That's
go
your
for.
go-to.
Because the thing about bourbon, you know, I don't need to mix it with anything. I can drink it straight. People think bourbon's the hardest shit in the world to drink straight. That's not true. I know people that drink like flavored Burnett straight, and that's way fucking worse.
What's the worst thing you can imagine drinking straight?
Vodka. And I have done that before. I've taken vodka pulls, but it's just
Vodka's
disgusting.
Not too bad.
Are you kidding?
Some shit you do need a chaser.
Vodka tastes bad in mixed drinks.
Good vodka should taste like nothing.
Well, I've never had good vodka.
It should burn a little because it's hard alcohol. But, no, like, you get some good vodka, it shouldn't taste like anything at all.
Well, we even say this burns like that when the ice is melted? I wouldn't say so. First drink.
Well, that's the point of putting ice in your shit, though, is to dilute it and, like, yes, cool it off a little, but, like, you could drink bourbon at room temperature. I wouldn't put some alcohols in the freezer, like, over time. It just fucks with it.
You wouldn't want
Tequila is honestly one of the harshest things to drink straight. It's fine if you do it with, like, salt and a lime, but the straight taste of tequila, I could not. Yeah. I could not sip on tequila.
Pretty gross.
It is fucking gross.
I remember I was having a birthday party when I was a lot younger, and, you know, so there was a bunch of, like, solo cups all over the place. And, you know, not, like, liquor solo cups. I was drinking, like...
soda.
I was drinking like a Coke, and I confused my cup for my dad's, and it was bourbon, but, you know, it looked brown, so I thought it was mine.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that was the worst thing I have ever fucking tasted, and I almost fucking puked right then, right there. I was literally like,
oh my god.
And we've just come a long way.
We've come a long way.
I feel like anyone who tasted beer when they were younger was just like, ugh, beer.
Most alcohol tastes shitty on the first go.
And now it's just like, yeah, beer.
Yeah.
But I'm with your coworker in the sense that, like, if I'm trying to get fucked up, keep the fucking beer from away from me. Like, I'll drink beer at the end of the night to kind of maintain, you know. Because at a certain point,
get, like, buzzed, because I like being buzzed more than I like being drunk. You know, like when you start to get drunk, you kind of hit that point of where you're, like, very present and kind of giddy. Like, that's how most people respond to a certain amount of alcohol. So, like,
what do you do?
I'll have like 2 beers. It takes like 2 beers for me to get a buzz. But, like, if I'm trying to get drunk, no, I'm not drinking beer. I would have to drink a 6-pack and more to get drunk off of beer. because it's not high alcohol. Bourbon's great for that, and like and that's why people like cocktails, is because they can have a couple of cocktails and be drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's a whole craft culture around alcohol, is because there is like an artistry to making something not taste like what the effect is. I want that illusion of not consuming alcohol, because I don't get like sugary cocktails or anything like that. Like I still want the taste of alcohol.
I think sugary drinks are, not to judge anyone who doesn't like straight fucking bourbon like I do, but the people that like the grasshoppers and shit like that, like all the sugary drinks, they're inexperienced drinkers. They don't really know what they're doing. They think all liquor tastes bad, so they're just going to put a bunch of sugar in it and hope it goes away. The taste never really goes away, and it makes it worse for you the next day. People always ask if I'm in bad shape the next day, and I'm always like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Because I was just drinking fucking
So you
straight
think it's
bourbon.
like the sugar crash that fucks some people up?
I don't know if it's called like the sugar crash, but yes, because you got to think the sugar is making you dehydrated too.
That's true.
It's not just the alcohol. So so they're just tag teaming on you.
Yeah.
They're taking turns with you. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you're fucking right. And I've had to like, because you know when you're just a kid literally, and you just drink soda like all the time. So I have had to tell myself before, like, this is not hydrating. This is not refreshing. It may taste that way, but like, I just rode my bike for an hour. I should probably drink some actual fucking water.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But if culturally you're sold ideas as being like acceptable.
Yeah. I know some people that are like, I'm thirsty, let me drink a Coke. And I'm always that guy where I'm like, you know, caffeine is actually a diuretic, so it will make you more thirsty. Sorry about that.
True.
They'll be like, no, it's not. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Have you ever met somebody that doesn't like the taste of water?
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. Handles in the description as always. And if you could, share the podcast with someone and give us some feedback. Thank you.